Hey there, awesome coaches. It is Rachel Feldman. It has been actually a while since I've done one of these. And a coach asked me if I would do an autoimmune funnel. We have one on weight loss, we have one on hormone, we have one on gut. But I thought, let's do an autoimmune one. So, what I want to start out with is we have a few different programs that can help your ideal client. You have to think if you have the client who needs to do AIP, which we have a program, or needs to do more of a leaky gut. For my autoimmune, I never needed to do AIP, autoimmune protocol. I did more of like a body ecology, leaky gut kind of recovery. So I want to show you both. We're also going to show you the 30 habits for thriving with an autoimmune because it's great for a Facebook group. I hear a lot of coaches who are building their business in a Facebook group. And so let me just show you how you can blend this over like more than even 30 days. Let me just share my screen for a second. Make sure it shares because last time I did this, it did not share. I was super pissed off. Okay, so here is a guide and a teaching PowerPoint. I want to just show you this. If you're in a group or even if you're looking for social media content, this could be 30 days. This could be extended to even 60 days. Because if you're doing social media content, you might not take the whole month and just do a habit a day. But my idea for this, when we put this together, as I said to one of my autoimmune writers, oh my God, having an autoimmune can be really overwhelming. But there are so many things that we can do that we forget to do. And what if we actually had like a guide or this template for thriving with an autoimmune, all these habits? So let's just look at this. Outlines 30 ways that you can support your immune system. Now, this could also be a webinar. This could also be a workshop. But you could do this in your Facebook group as well. So you have your daily routine. This is also great to do with a client. I mean, if you're doing this one-on-one or you're even doing this in a group, this could be a low-cost offer as well because there's so much information here. So we're talking about hydration, eating clean, fast, juice, healthy probiotics, kombucha, castor oil pack, walk or bounce. We're talking about bouncing on a rebounder for moving the lymph, sweat. So you can kind of see each day you could talk about a different one. You can even do behind the scenes as a reel or a TikTok, like bouncing on your rebounder or sweating. I wouldn't say that you can do one showing you do an enema, but you can always, and I see one autoimmune coach always talking about the power of an enema and showing what she uses for that. So I would use this as either the Facebook group or your social media. I'm going to just show you how amazing this teaching PowerPoint is. You could also, I put in there a low cost offer for the Autoimmune Flare workshop, but you could definitely do this as well. Come on, Dropbox. Give me a second. There we go. You could also, of course, do this as a workshop straight in your Facebook group. You could also create a series of videos to actually do on social media, whether it be YouTube or whether it be Instagram, talking about these habits. You could do a pre-recorded video and then upload it to Instagram. And for those of you working offline, which you know I love, and it's how I built my referral network, this could be a great way to introduce to a chiropractor's office, your local gym, a spa, a med spa. It's really a great one. So then what I would do is So that would be like at the top of the funnel, the awareness, if you wanted to do it at a low cost offer. Then I would look at Autoimmune Flares. Think about your ideal client. For some of you, you are AIP, your autoimmune protocol. For some of you, you are more of, like I said, a body ecology type of diet. So this has also extra freebies, 8 ways to manifest wellness, yoga rest challenge. So this could be a freebie. This could also be social media information. When you look at what comes in these packages, think of how you can use this. This could also be a handout for the workshop. But I think this is such a great little freebie. I would put in there autoimmune information if it was my client. This is a great workshop. Why? Because we all know we have autoimmune. Those who have been diagnosed have an autoimmune, which is usually that, many different kinds of autoimmunes. But what we don't know is how to handle a flare. And this is one of the things that came up constantly with my clients, or comes up constantly with coaches who I'm talking to. What are flare symptoms? So we're not thinking that it's like another autoimmune or that we're sick, but how do you handle a flare? What are common stressors? I know this all too well because I had some stressors that were bringing me back into a flare, constantly back into a flare, constantly back into a flare. And it wasn't until I worked on sorry about that. It wasn't until I actually worked on the trauma piece for me, right there, the trauma piece and the stress, even good stress. I would get super excited. All this adrenaline would rush out. It would trigger my autoimmune. At the time before I had asthma, I had ulcerative colitis, which turned into colitis, which is still something that is not perfect. Truth be told, our autoimmunes are never fully perfect, but something that doesn't take away from my life. And then fun perimenopause, leaky gut. So I would do this as a low cost offer. I would have a workshop. I would give the 2 handouts if you're doing it as a low cost offer. Such a game changer one. My favorite. This is one of my favorite supplements. Especially if you're not eating organ meat all the time. And then you can lead them to your program. But I want to show you the 2 programs. So we'll start with the 6-week autoimmune. You don't need to think about freebies here. I mean, we already went over what you could do in a Facebook group. We already went over a low cost offer. Actually, both of them could be a low cost offer if you wanted. The Autoimmune Flares could, turn into a series of videos as well. You could make that just a workshop, your signature workshop, but you could also do it paid. You have, let me just show you in your business materials. You have 2 opt-in freebies. 30 grab and go AIP snacks. Such great information. Why? Because it gives somebody an instant win. It's like stuff that you can just use right away. So that is freebie 1. Freebie 2, 3-day autoimmune detox with a diet, with recipes. So I would use this. I would lead them from, of course, my freebie to my low cost, with a nurture sequence to my low cost offer, and then to, of course, my signature program. Now, if you're working with people one-on-one, this 6-week program is probably going to be longer. Why? Because autoimmunes don't get fixed overnight. So when we're looking at this, you have a 6 email sequence as well. So you have your 3 guides. It talks about the 2 phases of the autoimmune protocol, 4-week elimination and a 2-week reintroduction. For the autoimmune protocol, it's a longer reintroduction. Personally, I've never done the autoimmune protocol. It's not something that I need to. If I was going to do anything, it would be our microbiome program, because that's a FODMAP and it's good for colitis and stuff of that nature. But this is really such a win-win. If you have any questions about this program, if you're working with somebody one-on-one, your low-cost offer could be, your single session could be going through an Autoimmune Flares workshop, or it could be working with somebody on the 30 Habits Thriving. This can be your signature program, make it longer, which would just be a longer reintroduction. For the client, and you can see right here, you have 3 training modules as well: transition, maintenance, reintroduction, everything that you would need to work with somebody. If you're doing it as a group or maybe a container, which is like more of a mastermind situation, it would work perfectly as well. And then the other would be our gut fix. This is more of what I did to end a lot of food allergy elimination. So that's why the detox was always such a powerhouse. I would never do the reintroduction, but I did detoxes where I would keep eliminating foods. It's one of the reasons that in our detox, we do a food elimination only for 7 days. Only for 7 days, and then we're doing a 7-day reintroduction. My reintroductions would be a lot longer because I was testing foods, and a lot of foods that didn't show up on allergy tests. Truth is, it was a lot of leaky gut. So I had to get rid of heavy metals. I had to get rid of parasites, EBV, candida, a lot of things that were pulling the trigger. So here's the guide. And you can think of this as 2 paths, 2 kinds of ways to work with autoimmune. But I'll show you the recipes as well. This is more for leaky gut. So if a person has done the 30-day and that's kind of your path where you're taking them on that, but you don't do AIP, your next step could be the Microbiome Program, which I will show you, actually, since we're here. This is based on the 4R approach. And same thing in here. You don't have to worry about your freebies and your workshops because they're done for you. So this is more the approach that I did with my clients. I did a lot of probiotic rotation, enzyme therapy, a lot what you see in our protocols is actually how I worked with my clients. A lot of working with gut dysbiosis, but also making sure we were adding in collagen and stuff that were sealing and healing the intestinal lining. Plus a lot of enemas. My clients didn't love that, but it was something that I felt was important. A lot of castor oil packs. So 10 warning signs your gut is a hot mess. You can see you have your freebie already. If you wanted to do an indoctrination series, which is different from a nurture series, nurture is where you're nurturing off the freebie leading to your offers. An indoctrination series is where you are leading them through a story, like about you and client testimonials, and leading to a blog and giving more value. We have a gut indoctrination series as well. So you'll see right here, you have your freebies done. Let me show you the kind of recipes. Each one of you have, different kinds of clients as well. We'll just do omnivore for this. Have different clients as well. You might have somebody, maybe you're on both these paths. Maybe you have the 30-day gut fix for somebody that has leaky gut, and you also do AIP. then you have two paths. They're two distinct funnels. That's really what a funnel is. It's just a path leading them, nurturing through the funnel so that they get to the paid offers. You'll see right here that there are pseudo grains in here. The microbiome program is of course different. It's based on FODMAP. But the reason I always love the whole programs is they come with everything that you need. They come with the workshops, they come with PowerPoints, kickoff and wrap up scripts. Really warming foods. There was a time where I did go grain free. That was when I was doing paleo, but it was really hard for me to keep up with paleo because there were so many nuts and my body didn't do well. So I kind of did a blended, which I think a lot of us end up doing, kind of our own blended. Let's just look at the microbiome program. There's also a workbook that comes with this. What are FODMAPs and why do they matter? And some of you were talking about histamine regulation. So this might be a great program for those of you who are looking for that. But I think these are 3 distinct programs that would be great. If, of course, but I would always say this, when you're thinking about choosing your programs, really think about your coaching style, what you believe your ideal client needs. So no matter what program you're ever looking, like what your ideal client needs, what is that transformation? What is the promise of the program? Because when you know that, being able to sell your programs, you have that confidence. You know that you're going to be able to sell it because you know what that program is accomplishing. Talk a lot about poop. Really cool program. Let me just show you the recipes before we. So think of kind of also when you're looking at your program, think of what type of client you attract, your ideal client avatar. Like what is their commitment level? How long have they been in pain? How long have they had their autoimmune? To see what that commitment level is. Let's look at omnivore again. There are vegetarian recipes, of course. So these are all restore, which is the beginning phase, and then reinoculate is when you're adding back in foods. When you're testing. But they're not deprivation. At first, when I thought we were doing FODMAP, I was like a little nervous, but I wouldn't be nervous at all with doing these kind of recipes with a client. So just to recap, let me just show a little more. Just to recap, for those of you who are looking for an autoimmune funnel, look at the amount of information that you need to have the entry. So your entry for like how you're building awareness, that could be the thriving with an autoimmune for 30 days. Then think of what is your low cost offer. Low cost offer can be a workshop. That can be $37, $47, $67. It's a low entry place for your client to get to know you. That's all a low cost offer is. If you're working with people one-on-one, that could be done in a single session. And that's where the Thriving with Autoimmune workshop could be done as a low cost offer in your one-on-one, or Thriving or the Autoimmune Flare workshop. Then you can look at the different path of whether it's the 30-day gut fix or and then the Microbiome Program or the Autoimmune Protocol. All three are great programs. It just really depends on which one fits your style of coaching. So if you have any questions, guys, please let me know. It's been a pleasure to be with you guys today. Wanted to just go through that to help this coach who asked me to do an autoimmune funnel map out. So if you have any other questions, let us know. But I hope that you have an amazing day. All right, guys, take it easy.